Congratulations to Penn State. Quite an atmosphere, obviously. Played good football, played pretty mistake-free. And, they got on top of us pretty quick. Really, after our first drive, where we missed a kick, they kind of were able to do what they wanted to do on offense, and we were not able to do what we wanted to do on offense. So it became a tough half. Proud of our guys, the way they came back in the second half, and really kept them to one touchdown on their side and kicked a couple field goals on ours. But thought our guys competed, had some opportunities there, here and there to make some plays, but overall we just weren't as good as they were tonight.
Jedd, what went into the decision to switch quarterbacks at halftime?
We had 50 yards of offense, or 70 yards of offense, 50 yards of passing, and 17 yards of rushing, and it was 28-0, and we really weren't getting anything going after the first drive. And I thought that, it was an opportunity to give Demond a chance to play a full half of football. He hasn't had that opportunity yet. I thought that was important for him. I thought he did some really good things. And I thought Will, was sort of a victim of circumstances a little bit. He was 10 for 13 in the first half, but just we weren't able to get anything going.
Is he still your starting quarterback?
Yeah, at this point in time, I'm going into the week thinking that he will be our starter for Friday night.
I hadn't seen you guys really get physically overmatched this year, maybe at Iowa a little bit. This one was kind of the complete thing. What do you do going forward? Is there a thought process about the weight room, about who you recruit next? You need some physical guys, maybe on the defensive line and maybe a couple more behind them.
Yeah, I think there's, as we kind of knew going into the season, when we had none of the offensive linemen that are participating in spring ball, and that we were not available to bring in players from the portal. We didn't have a portal, and then we, recruiting wise, we only had 7 guys on the roster, and 2 of which were coming off of ACLs, and then we were also, trying to teach a system and bring in guys and bring in players, and now those guys, a lot of them didn't have the weight room. They didn't have the weight room for us for the spring due to coming back from an injury or due to not being here. We have to bring in, we're planning on signing 5 or 6 players, 5 or 6 new freshmen. These freshmen are going to become older. We're playing with, the combination of youth and experience, but some of the experience wasn't really in the FBS. When you look at, who we're playing with, and right now, Khalid Tafai was a redshirt freshman. Swanee is a redshirt freshman. Those guys, they're going to spend more time in the weight room. They're going to get bigger. They're going to get stronger. When you look at, on the right side, Drew Azzapardi only started 6 times. He's a sophomore. So he's going to have a big weight room year. Landon Hatchett was a true sophomore who didn't get to spend any time in the weight room. He's going to have a huge time in the offseason. And then we're going to bring guys in. We're going to continue to get bigger. That is the Big Ten, right? The conference is different. And the transition between the Pac-12 and the Big Ten is a huge transition. And this team has been recruited for the Pac-12 team. And as we continue to go eastward and play these games, as you can see, I think their 2 deep was, I looked at it, I think was 1,100 or 950 pounds heavier than ours. So when you look at it, you start adding up all of the size of the 2 deeps of both sides of the ball, there's a substantial difference there in size.
Was there any update on Cully?
There wasn't, but I don't think it wasn't a serious injury to the point that I would be saying that the season's done by any means. I think it was just a lower leg deal.
Demond didn't play in the first half for the first time since Eastern Michigan. Was there a thought to get him into that first half at all?
No, well, we had a 15-play drive, and then it was like a 6-play, 4-play half was over. So we only had, I think it was 21 plays or 24 plays in the half. The first drive went pretty smoothly. We went down there, we got to 3rd and 4 on the 22-yard line. My plan was to go for it, so I was going to run the ball on 3rd down, get us, to 4th and 1, 4th and 2, put Demond in. We had a play scheduled, and we wound up having a 5-yard loss, or 4-yard loss there, which kind of messed up that thought process. So we kicked it and then hit the goalpost. And then the next one, we had, I think 6 plays, and then the next one we wound up throwing an interception.
You mentioned the youth of this group and also just the environment, and a lot of those guys are experiencing something like that for the first time. it's a tough one. How can this experience help you as you move forward?
I think this whole year is gonna help us moving forward. Like, this is the epitome of year one in so many ways. Year one of a coaching staff, year one of a team, year one in the new conference, year one playing, I mean, Penn State's the number 6 team in the country. So we're on the road against the number 6 team in the country, and then in 2 weeks on the road against the number 1 team in the country. I mean, these are all experiences that are new. You know, you wind up playing at Iowa early in the morning for us, or at Indiana, who's they won, they're undefeated at 10-0, right? So I think we're just learning a lot about being in a new conference. It's the double whammy of everything's brand new. We only had 40 scholarship players or whatever it was when we got here, and then we're in a new conference. So we're gonna build and create it the way we know it's gonna take to win in the Big Ten. And that's size. You need size in the Big Ten if you're gonna beat teams like Penn State and Ohio State and Michigan on a consistent level. And those guys are, they've been doing it for a long time. Coach Franklin's been here 11 years, building his team up.
Do you think that's something that can happen to a great degree this offseason, that you can get that much closer to being competitive against a team like this?
Yeah, I mean, this team on the road at USC was 33-30. You know, you don't really know, right? Like, what does it look like? Do I know if we could go on the road next year and, you know, beat this team in one offseason? I don't know that. I know that when we go on the road next year, whomever we play, we're going to be a lot better than we were this year. We're going to continue to build it. We're going to continue to grow. And I really believe that we're building this foundation so in one offseason, we're able to make a big jump. And then in another offseason, make an enormous jump. And I've always felt that, you know, you look at building. We're sitting here at 5-5, and with 2 to play. And we got to go out there and win this week to become bowl eligible. But I like where we are in terms of where we were going to the season with not knowing the names of players. And I know that next offseason, when we have a full year with these guys, how good we can be, which I think will be a big jump.
Fenny Dixon looked pretty upset having to leave the field. Did you get a chance to talk to him at all?
Yeah, I did. And he just said to me, Coach, we worked too hard to not be able to play in this game. I mean, I think it was the 5th or 6th defensive snap of the game. You guys probably know the exact number, but he made a great hit. He was a guy was running right at him, square at him. It's very hard to move at that exact moment, to not put yourself in harm's way and not get hurt yourself. It was very unfortunate that, you know, he did have his crown of his helmet that he led with that we talk about not doing. And he was devastated. He wanted to play in this game. He's a senior, and he's a great football player.
You know, they call it targeting, but he's just standing there waiting for the guy, and they bend him over backwards. Isn't there a kind of a better interpretation? I know crown versus crown is a sin, but still the fact that he wasn't even moving on a hit seemed kind of ludicrous.
Yeah, it's a tough rule. It's and you don't really get a great explanation. You just kind of get, you know, we saw it as targeting. And we'll go back and look at it. It's a really tough rule. I've said this for as long as I've been in college football, because I've seen seniors ejected from rivalry games and never be able to play in it. And I just wish it wasn't an ejection. I just wish it was, hey, if you want to call targeting, make it a 15-yard penalty and make the second one an ejection. But that's going to come, you know, that'll have to be a whole rules committee decision. I just hate to see kids that practice and play and go to school and do everything right all week long, and then try to protect themselves and be in a weird spot and end up, you know, getting thrown out of the game.
Just 1 or 2 more, please. What do you think about Demond in his second half performance today?
I thought he did really good. I mean, obviously, I would have liked him to hit the first pass to Decker. That would have been a nice little touchdown to start the second. You know, we would have been we told our guys, let's take the ball away and throw a touchdown pass. I told them what we're going to call. And we took the ball away and we just said we just overthrew it. But I thought he came back and hit a slant, threw it with conviction. He came up the sideline. You guys saw how fast he was. He gives you the ability to scramble when protection's a problem. So I thought he did a nice job. He protected the football. He got us down to the red zone 3 times. And, we just got to get in the end zone there and score some touchdowns. at that point.
Carson mentioned defensively that a lot of it came down to execution. Are you seeing the same issues come up from the Iowa and the Indiana game as were not executed here, or are these different kind of executions?
No, I don't think it's like we don't execute as well on the road. I don't see it as that. I mean, we haven't played as well against Iowa, Indiana, and Penn State as we have played against Michigan, USC, and Northwestern, whatever that might mean. I don't think that's necessarily fully reflective on the geographic location. But I do think that certainly when we are at home and we have our fans and we have the comfort of being there, our guys play with a freeness, with a excitement, with an energy that we need to make sure that we bring on the road as well.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.